Hi, this will be one of the quickest. It's a very simple advice. Isolate yourself and meditate. Isolate and meditate. Now, I think basically it started with when started sitting back to record the best part of my life when I had achieved anything that I had achieved best. And then I figured out that it was usually within period I would spend time to think much, right? I discovered that you only get better at what you do. You get better at anything in life if you spend more time working on that thing, right? So if I want to get good at coding, I have to spend time coding. If I want to get good at football, I have to spend time on the field to train. Now, we all spend time on things we love, skills we want to acquire, but we don't spend time to really build an inner self. Now, the real truth is, I would always, look, and every single time I actually get to observe the life of the successful people, I try to see if I could learn something. And one thing that did not make sense to me at all, not until I started getting to, get to a particular position in my life, is why the wealthy, the successful, the rich, people who are good, who are living a life of comfort, a life where they're satisfied, they're happy, why is it that they're usually very isolated? Now, I often see people who complain about depression. People who talk about depression a lot are people usually who are very social. You see somebody who is a celebrity, somebody who talks too much, plays too much, somebody who has fun all the time. After a while, you see this person posting things like, I am depressed, I want to stay off social media, I want to be alone on my own for some time. And then I get to ask myself, people who really have the fun, who are usually associating themselves with people, are the ones only getting depressed. And then you see people who spend more time meditating, isolating, taking the blunts like me, relaxing. You see us having a more successful life, a happy life. We might not really have it all in terms of finance, but we're living a life where we even get old, and we get happy. Now, that was something I read years ago. That was the monk that sold his Ferrari. And I learned that one of the easiest way anybody can have inner peace, because like I said, you spend time learning a particular skill, but you don't spend time building yourself. Now, so many people are damaged. So many people are not themselves. They've lost their past. They've lost their purpose. And, it would take so long for them to not discover that they've been off tracking. So when you see people who are depressed, it's usually people who will keep doing, maybe they've been living a fucked up life, or they've been having lots of ups and downs. Like they were not able to figure out things till it became critical. And now they're just, overwhelmed, and then they get into depression. Now, imagine every single day you sit down to reflect your life. Like you spend time to isolate yourself, to meditate, to talk yourself. Now, certain things will not go bad to the level where you run into depression. In fact, people who spend time to advise themselves, talk to themselves, they're usually the most successful, the most happiest people, because, like I would always tell you, the only person who can actually advise you is yourself. You know basically every single thing you've been through. Now, while I say isolate and meditate, is being on isolation, it's not enough. I have seen lots of dumb people, unsuccessful people, people who are completely a mess of a life, and they're usually always isolated. They're always on their own. Now, isolation doesn't really get you anywhere, not until you meditate. Now, meditation is when you get to sit and talk to yourself. While I was growing, I always felt I was having little issues, because I would sit there and I would talk to myself most times, and I would try to look quiet. I would try to, advise myself. Like most times I could sit there right now with a chessboard, and I'm having two personality playing that same chessboard. And I would always get scared thinking I have something wrong with me. Most people thought I actually had this personality disorder and all that. Now, not until I grew up and I became social, I started getting talk to people. I started, getting to interact with people so lots. And I lost that gift. I call it a gift right now, because back then I could give myself the best advice, right? Now, as time went on, I got to discover that the best people who would always tell you, in 48 laws of power, there's this law that simply says, do not say much than necessary. And then the law got to talk about this Rome leader, or thereabouts, or Greek leader who, whenever he's been asked something, he would tell you, let me think about it. Like, he doesn't really talk immediately. He would always tell you, he wants to go through it. Like, he doesn't talk all the time. And how that man commanded so much respect. And I started getting to understand that when you spend more time, when you don't get to talk immediately, when you don't get to associate yourself with people, or when you associate yourself with people, you get to lose a certain you get to lead a certain purpose. Like, you get to forget your purpose, you get to get derailed. Now, when you get to isolate yourself more, you get to find your purpose. Like, if I sit down right now and I'm isolated and I try to meditate, I'll start trying to think about all my problems, right? I'll start trying to like, oh, I've not done this, so I'm supposed to do this. Now, the moment I get to like talk to people all the time, I won't be able to like spend time to really think of things I need to do. So things I'm supposed to do because I'm interacting with people, I would not do them, right? Then until I get to a point where maybe I'm supposed to do so many things, and as a result of those things I did not do, those things I did not learn, those actions I did not take, those red flags I did not, look into, I did not think twice and leave the relationship, I had to stay longer because of those things, I will not end up being depressed, right? So now imagine right now, I spent more time with less people, but more time meditating, isolating and meditating. What do you think will happen? You not think the opposite. I'll be able to spot the red flag because I'll be able to like process things differently. I'll be able to like talk to myself. I'll be able to think about the things I need to do and get them done. So if you learn anything from today's gist, is learn how to be isolated and learn how to meditate. And then, like I would always tell people, reading is very difficult, right? It's very difficult, especially for a black man, because these are not things we learned while growing up, right? So the easiest way to learn, if you can't afford to read, is to do anything physical and have an audio book on your head. So the best medication, like how I actually get to meditate, if I hit up a blunt, I relax up a bit. I love calm music, or sometimes I lock the whole place. Like if I want to meditate right now, which is one of my rituals, I'll do it at least 2 to 3 hours in a day. I'll just sit down, put up a cool music, take a blunt, sit down and relax and try to think why things are going certain ways. See, you only get to give yourself the best advice when you think and sit down and relax and think 360, like consider each options. People make the worst mistakes most decisions because they're always interacting with people. They're not isolated. The wealthy people, they would stay in a castle, right? They will isolate themselves. If you see how the rich live, the rich don't like neighbors, right? If you go to an estate, a very big estate, every single person has their own mansion. Like this is a duplex, this is a duplex, this is a mansion, this is a mansion. You hardly see a rich man just carefully go to another rich man's house to he feels like interacting or talking. It's very difficult. Everybody in an estate stays on their own. Everybody, when you get to see the rich people, they're always isolated. They always want to stay on their own. Their whole business is their life, their family. They want to build a structure. Then when you see unsuccessful people face your apartment in very little places on the slump, they are always moving around. They're always in hangout. They're always at the bar. They're always at the club. They always want to talk. They always want to associate. So you get to understand that the only reason why those successful people are good at whatever they do, they're having a better life, is because they spend more time isolated, meditating, thinking about what they should do. So my recipe for you: hit up a blunt. Like this, talking about hitting up a blunt is something that I need to really talk about, because someone said people would think I'm encouraging people to start, doing highs. Now this is the honest truth. The easiest way to take a high is to, first of all, clear your head. I think I will do that topic tomorrow, how to walk or how to have a better life with a high. Something I would have to explain the pros, the cons, so you don't do something that would put you in problems. And then how to build it up yourself. People have inner, structures, inner power in them, inner personalities in them. You have to use that high, like let that high come in and let it step in and let it do a whole lot of things. Like me, for instance, I think that should be on tomorrow's topic. On tomorrow's gist, we'll talk more about how to use a high to bring out the best in you. So today's own was isolate yourself, do a lot of medication. Let me head back to work.